that's clearly very damaged here, and having both scenarios, which is the patient might say, yeah, that's really painful, or actually it's not. Somehow we're okay with that, but we're certainly not okay with the equal and opposite with that one. So again, we have a lot of consistencies because of, unfortunately, the biases that we all grow up with about pain in our society. So this nonlinearity is a big, big problem. We're overly dependent on what we can see. We're overly stuck in the model of if you can't see it, it can't be true. And again, as Beverly says, we've got to think about function, because function is ultimately actually the thing that drives every single sensory experience we have, and that's where really the business end is. So again, that's one message which just, again, we need to engage with and think differently about. The other issue is that increasingly, as we've spent pretty much 12 years now doing hundreds of different types of experiments with both healthy individuals and different types of patient groups, that I am increasingly of the view that you basically have either a resilient or a vulnerable central nervous system. And what you end up with as an adult in terms of how you are functionally wired up, how you are chemically set, your sort of chemical set point for the key neurotransmitters, how you are wired up, which is subject to all sorts of influences, both genetic but also cultural and societal, as you develop through puberty to an adulthood, and all maybe traumatic events that occur in your childhood will set you up. It's not rocket science, that's the way the body's built, and that's the way the central nervous system is being built and adapted. So you end up with an adult central nervous system that either has the capacity to be resilient, because it's got endogenous mechanisms to cope with damage or disease, or it's highly vulnerable. And that obviously, I think, is a key thing that we're recognizing increasingly that might explain why it is to the same damage or the same disease process, some people make that transition and are held in those persistent chronic pain states and others are not. And again, I think